Well, hello everyone, how are you doing this fine day? Hope you're enjoying your week. Welcome to another survival challenge, in particular, a One Piece survival challenge. Today's challenge is simple. Have you ever seen One Piece? Of course you have. Why would you be watching the video if you haven't seen One Piece? What are you, like retarded or something? In One Piece, there's an arc called the Enies Lobby arc. And basically what happens is a bunch of super secret world government agent people kidnap Robin and take her up to the gates of justice. Straw Hat Pirates, who are the main characters of One Piece, then have to get to Enies Lobby, fight their way through thousands and thousands of people, get up that tower to the gates of justice, fight through all the crazy superpowered CP9 agents, and save the big-titted waifu. Also, there's a very good chance that Spadum is going to summon a Buster Call, which is basically when a bunch of warships show up and there's a ton of vice admirals there and it's really powerful and it's hard to deal with. The caveat here that's different than my normal challenges is that usually I only put one character in a scenario. I'm putting a whole team in a scenario, however many people that is. So, you know, it's gonna make it a little bit easier. They're not gonna have to take on all of CP9 by themselves. And yeah, let's see how that goes. But I'm wasting up your time. Let's get started. Now, to tell you a little bit about what our teams might be facing when they get to Enies Lobby. For one, right when they arrive, the entire island is gonna be completely covered with Marines. These Marines don't have the most advanced of weapons. They have like cannons and flintlock rifles and shit that don't really work like flintlock rifles, but they're basically flintlock rifles. And there are thousands and thousands and thousands of them all over the island. They have to fight their way through all of that. Then they have to get to the first tower. Once they get to the tower, they gotta fight their way up the tower. Nothing too challenging in that tower. A couple of guys who were a little bit stronger than Marines, nothing too bad. Then once you get to the top of the tower, there's a massive gap between the first tower and the second tower because there's a bridge there that they just remove the bridge. Like they just raise the bridge and now you can't cross. So you're gonna have to figure out a way across. Once you get across, then all you have to deal with is CP9, which I say that as if it's like the easy thing. That's like the hardest thing you have to do. On top of them being physically very impressive, they're stronger than normal humans, they're faster than normal humans, they're just, you know, physically enhanced. And the vast majority of them have devil fruits, giving them a bunch of other interesting, weird powers. The main thing they normally lean on is the 6 styles. I'm not saying this shit in Japanese, I'm just letting you know that right now. If you're super weeby about it, you're gonna be very upset. And the 6 styles consist of Geppo, which is this ability to jump off the air. Basically, you kick your legs so hard that you can use the air as like a step. Kind of like when you're in the water swimming without arms, but you can do it in the air, which just sounds fucking exhausting. I don't see how all these motherfuckers' thighs aren't gigantuan, making them look all fucking deformed and shit. Then you have this finger pistol thing where you poke people and you poke them so hard it's like getting hit with a pistol and it blows a hole in them. You got this kicking ability that every time you do a kick, it creates this wind slash thing that's like a long range wind slashing attack. You have Takai, which increases your durability greatly, basically like a natural armor. You have the ability to manipulate and morph your body in different ways. At one point when Rob Lucci turns into a big leopard man, because that's something he can do, that's his devil fruit, he's like super big and roided out, and then he uses this ability to condense his muscles and slim him down so that he goes from basically a strength form to a speed form. You have this super speed dash attack where you go from one point to another nearly instantly. You move so fast that people can't see you, so it almost looks like you're teleporting. And then lastly, there's this ability to basically make your body kind of like paper and sort of move with the wind. Like you make yourself the opposite of super durable. And when people try and hit you, you just sort of like curve your body around all of their attacks. It just makes you really flexible. These abilities are obviously very useful, but they do have some very serious weaknesses. For one, none of them really work together in tandem with each other, at least not in the Enies Lobby arc. Like for instance, when most people use Takai, the armor ability, they can't move while also using it. So other than Jabra, I think that's his name, Jabra, I don't know, some Japanese shit, is the wolf dude. He's the only one who can actually use Takai and also move around. Many of the other characters just straight up don't use it because you can only stand there and use it. So if someone is attacking you and you're fighting someone who you know can hit you hard enough to bypass the Takai, it basically becomes a completely useless power. It's way more effective to just dodge out of the way and not use it. If you're using the paper ability that allows you to sort of become super flexible, you can't do that and also attack. You're just in sort of this dodging state, again, kind of limiting its usefulness. The super speed move that brings you from one point to another, it's just a dash. It's not like a speed enhancement. You go from point A to point B, you can't attack that fast, you can't travel around that fast, you only go from one point to another. So if someone sees you using the ability, and it's gonna be very easy to see you're using the ability because they literally shout it out when they fucking do it, massive weakness in anime that people don't talk about enough. If they can outthink you and predict where you're going to appear at and then react accordingly, someone who is considerably slower than that ability can still fight against you pretty evenly. And this is kind of the way it works for all of these abilities. They're useful, but they're extremely limiting. And that's probably gonna bite them in the ass at a lot of points in this video. You have to go around, you have to fight all the CP9 members because each one of the members has a key, and only one of those keys is actually going to unlock Robin's cups, who is slowly being transported across the bridge in order to get on a boat and leave. And surrounding that bridge is going to be a bunch of different warships that are there from the Buster Call. And all this has to be done at a pretty fast pace because you have to race how long it's going to take them to actually transport Robin. If they transport Robin across the bridge and onto the ships, getting her off the island before our heroes can get there to save her, then they fucking lose, even if they beat CP9 and do everything else. So, can they overcome the odds and succeed? I don't know, let's fucking find out. First up on the chopping block, we have the Defenders from Marvel Comics, because that's gonna be fucking fun. We all know how incredibly consistent Marvel Comics is, right? Right? So the first challenge these 4 characters are going to hit right out the gate is the fact that literally none of them have any area of effect attacks. This is a pretty big deal because they're going to have to cross this massive island that is covered with thousands and thousands and thousands of soldiers that are all trying to kill them. In the Enies Lobby arc, Luffy was able to get to the island before anybody else and has tons and tons of area of effect attacks and basically just rampaged across the island, taking out 50, 60, 100 people with single strikes and kind of cleared a path for the rest of the team. And when that team got to the island, they had like 60, 70 people themselves, as well as eventually getting 2 giants to join them, allowing them to just hop on the giant's shoulders and walk across without even having to deal with anything. And they even drove a fucking sea train across the island. My point is that they had ways of crossing really, really quickly and abilities that allowed them to remove the obstacles out of their way. The Defenders don't really have that. The team consists of Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones, and all of their skills are just punching people. That's all they could do, is punch individual people at a time. When you have literally thousands of people in your way that are all firing bullets at you at the same time, it's gonna take you a bit to get through. Now, to be fair, characters like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage aren't really gonna have this issue. Luke Cage won't be affected by any of their attacks and literally can just walk his ass all the way there and kind of ignore them. Whereas Jessica Jones can just skip the fight entirely and fly over the battlefield going directly to where she needs to go. That won't really be that much of an option for Iron Fist and Daredevil, who will kind of have to fight everybody. The only thing I can think of is maybe Jessica Jones can haul all 3 of them on her back and basically just carry them like fucking children all the way to the tower they're going. I mean, maybe if that's something they want to do, it's an option, you know, maybe a little bit of an embarrassing option, but an option. So if they try to fight their way through the thousands of people, it's going to eat into their time and they probably won't make it there. If they use the flight thing, if that's an option, then they'll actually get there faster than Luffy and them got there, so that's cool. That also means the whole bridge issue that was gonna be an issue isn't actually an issue because they could just fly over it, so they can even skip the first tower and just go directly to the second tower where Robin is and take on CP9. They essentially skip like 80% of the challenge. I should think harder in the future about not putting flying characters in this challenge. So when they finally arrive there, how will they do against CP9? Well, one disadvantage they're gonna have that the Straw Hats didn't is that there's only 4 of them. When the Straw Hats faced CP9, they actually had more people than CP9 did. They outnumbered them. In this case, it's going to be the other way around, where many of the Defenders are going to have to fight multiple CP9 operatives. And considering just how powerful many of these people are, it's probably not going to go all that well. Daredevil is a super skilled, ninja-like, blind, awesome martial arts dude. But is there a single CP9 member that he can fight and beat? I don't think so. As skilled as he is at fighting, it's arguable that he's even more skilled than they are, and they are inarguably far faster, far more powerful, and have a larger variety of powers. Like, if one of them just decides to fly up into the sky with his little Geppo moves and then just hurl thousands of fucking air swipes at him at the speed of sound, just peppering an entire room with blade slices, there's really nothing Daredevil can do to dodge or deflect or in any way defend, and he's gonna fucking die. Iron Fist will probably do a little bit better since his physical attacks are actually strong enough to hurt all of the CP9 members, since he arguably has the strongest attacks out of the entire team. But other than his really powerful attacking abilities, he's just a really skilled dude. He would also not have the ability to actually properly dodge all of those attacks. Not because of their speed necessarily, although that is an issue, but just because of the sheer number of them that the CP9 officers are capable of doing. They literally fight like Dragon Ball Z characters where their arms are moving faster than bullets and shit. These street level Marvel characters just don't deal with that. So it's really going to be kind of entirely reliant on Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. But honestly, not really, just kind of mostly Luke Cage, because Jessica Jones does have super strength and she can fight back and she's fast and she's a skilled fighter and all that different kind of stuff. But CP9 CP9 is still faster, still more skilled, and can still harm her. So, again, I'm not really sure if this is that good of a matchup. I think she's probably, it's really just going to be on Luke Cage's shoulders. But before I move on, I'm sure some people are going to be annoyed with how I am showing the Marvel Universe, as people always are, because they like reading wikis. I haven't read Versus Battle Wiki in, I don't know, maybe over a year. But based on what I know from Versus Battle Wiki, I'm going to assume it probably has all of these characters at relativistic speeds, because pretty much all of them have fought Spider-Man at some point, and Spider-Man has been able to react to laser fire. This is bullshit. Do not listen to this. Again, I'm kind of just guessing as to what it says, but I'm sure it says something similar to this. Point is, no, they're not. They're not even close to relativistic. I just generally disagree across the board with how scalers like to do this stuff. Jessica Jones is able to punch Spider-Man. Spider-Man dodged light at some point, ergo Jessica Jones must be faster than light in order to hit Spider-Man. That doesn't make any sense, especially when you're talking about Marvel. So you're telling me that anytime a bullet grazes Spider-Man, that bullet is also going to be light speed because he's been able to dodge light speed in the past? How do you know he's dodging light and not dodging the person firing the light? The Defenders are street-level heroes. Bullets are shown to threaten them. At no point does Daredevil look at a bullet coming towards his face and it's like right in front of his face and he just slowly moves his head and then it passes by the side. That never happens because he can't do that. He's not that fast. But at times, he can still fight against Spider-Man. Comparing any of the Defenders to the same speed of Spider-Man is faulty enough to begin with, but it's even more insane when they just assume that Spider-Man across the board in every story is light speed, because he's not. He's different in every story depending on what they want him to be at that given time, and very, very rarely, if ever, is he just definitively light speed. Again, reacting to a person firing a gun that shoots a projectile at light speed is not light speed. I need to make that super clear. As a general rule with the Defenders, they are nowhere near as fast as CP9. CP9 are consistently and constantly shown moving so fast that people can't see them moving. They can punch so fast that it looks like they've got 5 arms at the same time. None of the Defenders are ever shown being able to do this. The only Defender that actually might stand a chance against them is Luke Cage because of his insane levels of durability. He's actually durable enough to take the hits of basically all of the CP9 members for a very long time. Will he eventually get put down? Yes, he will. Because despite what people think, his durability actually does have limits. Like, he was nearly one-shotted by a small nuclear, like a very small nuclear warhead. Like, it didn't destroy a city or even a section of a city. It might have destroyed like maybe a block or a small town, and that nearly killed him. So very clearly there is a limit to his durability. Can these characters match that and actually do more damage? Possibly. I mean, Luffy used Gear 3rd to bash down this massive iron door and actually like broke and dented in the iron parts of the door that was way thicker than what you would normally see in a nuclear fallout shelter. So I don't think it's a stretch to say that Rob Lucci could probably hit with a level of force that wouldn't be equal to that, but with enough time and enough hits could possibly cause that level of damage and overcome Luke Cage. But it's really gonna completely be on the shoulders of Luke Cage. And with Luke Cage's far inferior speed to CP9 and the fact that he's gonna be outnumbered, I don't think there's a whole lot of arguments that you can make that would say that Luke Cage would be able to survive this. So yeah, the Defenders lose, but hey, at least they made it to Rob Lucci. That's pretty cool. If you're enjoying the video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, and join the membership. Remember, you join the membership, you get videos early. And don't forget, I started a second channel, Rouga's Real House, where I will be putting videos over occasionally when I'm not putting videos here. Probably game reviews and movie reviews, and I already started a new series over there. I got the first video up, go check it out. Cool? Okay, let's get back to the video. Next up, we have the Peregrine Falcon Squad, aka PF Squad, aka Falcon Squad, from the Metal Slug series. Now, to be clear, this is just Falcon Squad. If you're not really all that knowledgeable in Metal Slug and who the Falcon Squad is, this would not include characters like Leona or Ralph or any of those playable characters. They're a part of the Ikari Warriors faction, which is more heavily tied into the King of Fighters series. And also, if you weren't aware, the King of Fighters fighting game series and the Metal Slug series are part of the same universe. The characters know each other, they show up in each other's games. We're only going to be focusing on Falcon Squad, which is just a subsection of elite soldiers within the regular army of Metal Slug, It's got characters like Marco and Tarma and basically the entire cast of Metal Slug, with the exception of the characters from King of Fighters, who again are part of the Ikari Warriors. Totally different faction. Having said that, you can more or less take the skills and abilities of Ralph and Leona and characters like that who exist in King of Fighters and basically just attribute it to all these characters as well, since they're all semi-equivalent to one another. Not necessarily Leona as much, because Leona has like her fucking Super Saiyan form where she becomes so powerful that like Ralph as well as several other characters will have to team up together to fight her. That's like a different thing. Again, I'm mostly not going to be going into the King of Fighters stuff. We're talking about the Metal Slug shit in this video. Now, for anyone who hasn't played Metal Slug, you should. It's fucking awesome. It's basically a well, it was originally a side-scrolling shooter where you would just go and mow down tons and tons of people with really big, badass, awesome guns. But then eventually they started making a bunch of other genres in the same universe. So there's like a turn-based tactic style Metal Slug, and there's a tower defense Metal Slug, and there's all kind of different Metal Slugs. Point is, it's a bunch of super-powered dudes with tons and tons of crazy weapons who have to fight against everything from giant, massive war machines and mechs and shit that can't possibly exist in our world, aliens and weird alternate dimensional gods, and they're just a part of regular army. That's what it's called. It's not a regular army, it's regular army. To fight up all of these horrible things, they fight against dictators and all this kind of stuff. It's really, really cool. Now, you might think by my explanation that they don't really stand a chance because they're just a bunch of characters with guns, and what the hell are guns going to do against CP9? These are not normal guns. The guns in the Metal Slug series are the most ridiculous, over-the-top, overpowered fucking guns in, like, video game fiction for the most part. I mean, you shoot someone with a shotgun in this game and they turn into fucking soup that just flies across the room. There are weapons that can immediately turn people to ash, shoot UFOs and other massive war machines out of the fucking sky. I mean, even the machine guns aren't even really machine guns. They're called heavy machine guns, and they're literally guns meant to shoot against tanks, and the tanks in the Metal Slug universe are not normal tanks. They are, again, giant, over-the-top, crazy mech war machines that look awesome and have so much firepower. If you like guns and just over-the-top firepower, get into the Metal Slug series. That's basically what the whole thing is about. There is not a single fiber in my body that does not believe that any of these guns would be able to wipe out CP9. They are unbelievably destructive. And when you see the insane shit that Falcon Squad has to fight against, and that they commonly and very casually overcome with these weapons, you're gonna agree with me. That's not gonna be a problem. So there was a lot of issues that the Defenders had that Falcon Squad's not gonna have. For one, their area of effect issue that they had where they had to take on each person like one at a time or a couple at a time to kind of slowly make their way to the place. That's not really an issue for Falcon Squad because they have explosives and lasers and all kinds of weapons that can wipe out dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and hundreds of people very, very quickly. They don't have the flying ability that Jessica Jones has, so they also have access to all sorts of different, slightly tinier war machines of their own. I mean, they have flying machines and mechs that they can run around with and jump really large distances and shit, and they can just jump in those mechs and fuck dudes up. And all of this different stuff is going to give them a lot of options whether or not they want to fight through the army or just pull a Jessica Jones and just go directly to where CP9 is. And honestly, once again, when it comes to my whole poor decisions of putting people on this list, if I do give them the flying machines and they fly over to the towers, they should actually be able to bypass the entire challenge by just blowing the fuck out of all of the ships, as well as the bridge that Robin needs to be transported across, and essentially eliminate the timer. Once that's done, all they have to do is take out CP9, and there's really not a whole lot the Marines can do about it because their only passage to the tower has just been fucking eliminated. So now they're just out there in ships, probably sinking. I mean, all the most powerful Marines have Devil Fruit, so once you destroy all the ships and they're in the fucking water, that's it. They can't do anything. Water is the weakness to Devil Fruit users, by the way, in case you weren't aware. By that point, the only thing Falcon Squad has to do is fight against CP9, get the key, and then free Rob, and then they can fly their asses out of there. So the question becomes, can they actually do that? Yeah, I think so. I mean, physically, they're not gonna be as strong as the CP9. Well, at least not the stronger CP9. I think they'll be fine against the weaker bullshit CP9. But if characters like Marco are in any way comparable to characters like Ralph, who are in King of Fighters, he should actually be very physically strong enough to at least compete or stay, you know, not dead while fighting them, although he will have a massive speed disadvantage. His guns, however, will be strong enough to basically one-shot all of CP9. That includes Rob Lucci. Like, again, Rob Lucci is strong and he's durable, but has he ever taken a hit that could immediately turn a person to ash? The hardest hit we see him take is Luffy's Gear 3rd punch, which is, yeah, really strong. It bashes down that metal door, but I don't believe for a single second that the weapons that exist in Metal Slug wouldn't be able to do the exact same thing, and without the negative side of turning into a midget afterwards. You also have the fact that Falcon Squad actually outnumbers CP9. There's only 7 CP9 members and there's 8 members of Falcon Squad. That means somebody somewhere is going to have to take on 2 people at the same time. And like I said, I think the Falcon Squad members will be able to pretty easily take on the weakest members of CP9 in possibly one shot, a couple at the most. That means that the characters who are going to do way better against Falcon Squad, like Rob, Lucci, and Kaku and them, if they don't wipe out their targets immediately, which is very unlikely given how strong these characters actually are they're going up against, they're going to eventually have to start dealing with 2, 3, 4 people at a time, and then they just really don't stand a chance, because again, one shot and they're out. And at this point in the series, while the CP9 are very fast characters, there's really no evidence that they're so fast that they can dodge out of the way of light-based laser attacks or high-caliber rounds from the guns that they're firing. I mean, the only guns that exist in the One Piece universe up to this point were flintlocks. Flintlocks don't fire that fast. The absolute fastest flintlocks in history only move about 1,800 feet per second, which is about 150% the speed of sound. Whereas even basic rifles in modern day fire 2 or 3 times that speed. But Metal Slug weapons are not just basic bitch weapons that we have today, and they likely fire considerably faster. My point is that up to this point in the series, One Piece characters do not just casually dodge bullets without reacting to the person who's actually firing the bullets. It's not like they're seeing these bullets in slow motion. It's still a threat to them. And the weapons that Metal Slug characters fire are considerably faster. Now, some people might bring up Foxy and how Foxy used a light-based attack because the attack is described as particles. But come on, you know you're kidding yourself, right? We see in the animation how fast it goes. It's very, very slow. Even in the manga, where you don't actually get a good sense of speed, there are still panels of Luffy reacting with his face and being surprised by the blast coming his way and him being like, oh shit, I can't get away, what do I do? And what exactly are you gonna try and argue with me? That Luffy is reacting with his face, making funny faces in faster than light speed? Why? So yeah, overall, I think Falcon Squad's gonna do really good here. Again, maybe it's not fair that I give them their flying machines because that made it considerably easier. But really the main challenge here is facing off against CP9. And like I said, their weapons are going to be able to overcome CP9. So that's just kind of it. Next up on the list, we have Public Safety from Chainsaw Man. Wow, what a lame fucking name for such a cool group. I mean, it's a group filled with fucking demons and we're calling them Public Safety? Ugh. That's so gay. So I'm just gonna be real with you. This isn't fair if we have the entire team of Public Safety. Like, if we have Makima, who is the leader of Public Safety in this challenge, they win. They don't even have to do anything. Makima could just control everyone on the entire island. Rob, Lucci, Spadam, all of them. Just everybody. All of the Vice Admirals. She can just mind fuck everyone. And that's it. It's over. The rules of Chainsaw Man is that they don't really have any rules. Your willpower isn't relevant to her mind control abilities. The rule of her mind control abilities is that she can control the minds of anyone who she sees herself as superior to, and she doesn't have to meet you or defeat you in battle to think this. She just has to think she's superior, and she thinks she's superior to basically everybody. There's only 2 people in the series that she's shown that she respects enough to not see herself as superior, and that is Chainsaw Man and that old dude who trained Denji, I don't remember his name. Literally everyone else on the entire planet she sees herself as superior to, so there's really no reason why she wouldn't just be able to control everybody. Again, Rob Lucci included. Boom. Instant win for her. So we should probably not have her in this challenge. Having said that, what part of the team will actually be in the challenge? And that's basically everybody else. You got the obvious ones like Denji, Power, and Aki, but then you also have Violence Fiend and Angel Devil and Spider and Kobeni and all those characters. They're all gonna be here, and we're gonna see how they can wreck shop on Enies. I'll be honest with you. Normally, I make these challenges by like who I think would be the most interesting to see through the challenge, what decisions they'll make, all that kind of stuff. Very story based and character based. But I was feeling a little different today, and I was just kind of chose whoever I thought would be the coolest person to fight against Rob Lucci. I didn't really even think about who was stronger or who like wasn't stronger. I just like, would that it be cool if that dude fought Rob Lucci? Yeah, that would be cool. Let's put him on a list. This video is gonna fall the fuck apart real fast. Yeah. Yeah, it will. So are they capable of actually getting to the tower and even facing CP9? Yeah, of course they are, man. It's very casual speed feats for them to just blitz on by everybody. At one point in the series, Quan Chi travels several blocks, beheading, I don't know, multiple dozens of dudes on her way there, and no one even knows what happened until after she did it. It's basically that Six Styles super quick like dash move that's instant, you can't see movement, except that's just Quan Chi's basic bitch movement speed. When she originally does it, Power can't see her moving either, but later on in the series, Denji and Power and all of these characters get so powerful that they're able to blitz Quan Chi and defeat Quan Chi very, very easily. So basically, they move so fast that they can't be seen by a character who moves so fast that normal people can't see. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Point is, these characters are very fucking fast. I don't think they're gonna have an issue just dashing through all these dudes and getting to the towers the way they need to get to the towers. And even if that wasn't the case, Denji can just Spider-Man swing his ass over there. Angel can fly. You got a lot of options here is what I'm saying. So let's just get to the part that, I don't know about you, but I actually care about. How cool would it be if Denji got into a fight with Rob Lucci? That'd be really cool, right? I think that would be really cool. Do I think that Rob Lucci would win? No. Like I said, I actually think that Denji is a lot faster, and honestly, arguably, he's stronger too. Oh, it is true that Rob Lucci was able to take a Gear 3rd attack from Luffy, which was strong enough to destroy that door, and then destroyed a large section of the castle they were fighting in. I guess this thing's a castle, right? The fucking Enies Lobby built. It's a castle. It's the tower thing. Denji actually took a shot from the Gun Fiend, which basically wiped out several city blocks. I mean, it just fucked that city all up. And while he was pretty messed up by it and he was having trouble standing and stuff, he wasn't dead. Like, he was still conscious. So, you know, he's a pretty tough dude. He's pretty strong. He can take a hit. I think what you're gonna end up having here is Rob Lucci being a more skilled combatant and having far more mobility than someone like Denji, but Denji being the overall faster and stronger character who could also heal by drinking the blood of Rob Lucci. So it's sort of going to be like a stamina situation where it's like, how long can Rob Lucci last against Chainsaw Man? And honestly, I don't think he will. I think Chainsaw Man will beat him, but it'll be really cool. Like I said, it'll be really cool. You know what I never brought up? I never brought up the bubble bitch. There's a bitch in this. There's a bubble bitch. She's one of CP9. She takes bubble baths and then she uses the bubbles to fuck up people. I didn't even bring her up in the last couple things. She probably would have done some fuck up shit to the Falcon Squad, and she could probably do some fuck up shit here too. Like, that's a crazy hacksy ability. It is pretty weak that water is the weakness to it though, and well, any liquid would be, so blood would be too, so it probably wouldn't be that effective. I don't know. Never mind. Maybe they could do something with the bubble shit against the Falcon Squad. I don't think it would do anything against the Devils though. I just realized I forgot to bring her up because her power is unique and interesting. So back to the part I actually care about. I do think that Denji is gonna beat Rob Lucci in a fight. At least this version of Rob Lucci this far in the series. Obviously not the later versions that appear after the time skip. I'm not talking about that. Specifically Enies Lobby version. As far as all of the other characters though, but I do say the odds of them actually saving Robin are significantly less than Falcon Squad because they're not particularly organized. They're all demons that don't really care about human life. Denji and Power are really the only serious heavy hitters. Aki's just a regular guy with some interesting abilities, and all of the other devils and fiends aren't really all that impressive and would likely get their asses beat pretty handily by CP9. So yeah, I think they might actually fail to save Robin. I do think they're beating CP9 eventually. Like, even if Angel can't fight, he has the power to just suck the fucking life force on contact out of you. That in itself is pretty fucking broken. But even if all of CP9 wipe out all of the devils other than Denji, Denji is still strong enough to pretty easily kill basically everyone, with the exception of Kaku and Rob Lucci, but he could still beat Kaku and Rob Lucci. At least in one-on-one he can. So yeah, I think overall they succeed, but Robin might be fucked here. I think there's a really good chance Robin is fucked here. Last up, but certainly not least, we have Yggdrasil from the Tekken series. Yggdrasil is the rebel group that was created by Lars Anderson to fight against the Mishima Zaibatsu after it was taken over by evil Jin. I fucked up this whole video. This video is done, is garbage. Obviously, Yggdrasil's gonna fucking dominate. There's 30,000 members in Yggdrasil. There's only 10,000 people on Enies Lobby. They have more advanced weapons. They have flying vehicles. They have tanks and shit. They're an actual sizable army. Little shitty fucking jackbots that could be one shot by Lars were capable of destroying a meteorite that was 6 kilometers in diameter. And that was one of the weaker versions of jackbot. We've had like 3 stronger versions since then. Kazuya and Heihachi together were able to take on an entire army of Jackbots, one-shotting all of them, and Lars beat the living shit out of Kazuya. Lars took on a Yggdrasil that was gonna blow up the fucking planet, even though he wasn't at full power, so I'm not saying his planet. Look, Lars is not as strong as, say, Jin or Kazuya or the other Mishimas or Azazel or any of that. I'm not saying that that's the case at all, because I know these characters are like continental shit. You know, they can blow up islands, all kinds of stuff. Lars is not there. He isn't. But, again, even a Jackbot can destroy a 6-kilometer wide meteor that's headed for Earth. And they're literally the weakest character on the roster. Lars is in the top 5. He's strong as shit, and there's really nothing that Rob Lucci or any of these people can do against him. He would likely be able to take on the entirety of CP9 solo and whoop their asses, especially considering his speed. He could just transform into lightning and travel around at lightning, like being like literally turn into a lightning bolt. Then zap around and beat the fuck out of people. He's just way too powerful for CP9. But the fight would be really cool, though. I would like to see that. Maybe I'll do a different video at some point that somehow squeezes and allows an older, like better version of Rob Lucci to go up against Lars, and that'd be like kind of a cool thing and how they would interact and stuff. I don't know. I like the idea. The fight sounds cool. Just fucking 3-way fight between Denji, Rob Lucci, and Lars, but all of them kind of like scaled relatively equal to one another, so they can actually challenge each other. Like, I don't know. It would be cool. I know I fucked up the video. You ain't gotta tell me. Lars leads an army of 30,000 soldiers strong to Enies Lobby, wipes out everybody. Lars, Alyssa, and Lee Chaolin attack CP9 in the building, fuck them all up, because of course they will. They're way too overpowered for them, and they fucking win. They get Robin, they sink all the ships, and they fly on out of there with Lee's rich fucking ass and his fucking flying things and shit. But that's gonna be all from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, and join the membership. Remember, you join the membership, you get videos early. And always remember, y'all stay safe out there, you hear?